So I'm going to talk about the wiring harness on this 1964 Bel Air wagon. So this is kind of like a makeshift of what I made from what I remember back home and from diagrams that I've seen online, which I don't know if I fully trust the diagrams. I trust the one that I have at home because it is an original manual that actually has the diagrams correctly, and it even shows the inline 6 versions and the big block versions. And so this is the 283 one I found online. I just wrote it down just so that I could see it out better. So when you turn the ignition, the voltage, 12 volt voltage, is going to come from the battery and then go to the ballast resistor, and it's going to drop it down to 5 volts to go to the coil. This is so when it goes down to 5 volts that the points don't get scorched or burnt up in the distributor, and so the coil doesn't overheat too much when you're starting the vehicle or when you're driving the vehicle. But once the voltage goes through the coil, it will go to the distributor and then obviously disperse into each cylinder, where each spark plug is. You can kind of follow the wiring from here. This wire goes to the ignition all the way down and into through the grommet, and then the wire goes to the ballast resistor, dropping at 5 volts across, and then goes down to the coil. And this wire, if you follow it, that yellow goes all the way down to the starter on the power side. This is the voltage from this goes down and into there under the starter. And then this wire right here goes back onto the distributor. You can see it all the way back there. But yeah. So I pulled a spark plug from this engine just to see how it's been, because this has been in for about half a year. And it's an Autolite 85, which is a copper cheap plug. It's like $4.95 a piece, but it works perfectly fine. As you can see, after half a year, this thing is actually looking really nice. It's actually looking pretty good. I mean, it's gonna be carboned up, but it's just these old engines, these carburetors, they tend to look like this more often than if it was fuel injected. But yeah, I'm going to be checking the resistance across the coil, and it should be anywhere from 0.5 ohms of resistance to 3.0 ohms of resistance. And yeah, so let's check what it is. 1.1 ohms or 1.2 ohms of resistance. It kind of fluctuating between the two. So the easiest way to check these coils on these old cars, or to check if you have any spark, is to unplug the coil wire from the distributor and put it up against any metal, and you should be able to see spark when you turn it over. Can you please turn it over, Danny? And you can see the spark right there. And that's how you know you have a good spark. So we're looking at the Pico on this 1964 Bel Air wagon, and we're onto the primary side with the coil over there. And on this Pico, you can see the magnetic field collapsing, but then it goes into normal time and then it drops right there, and that's where the dwell time is right there. And then it comes back up right there as the voltage spike for when it's sparking in each cylinder. So that's about it for this.
Here we've got our Pico scope hooked up to a Lincoln MKZ, the ignition coil control wires. This is a 2-wire coil, so one side has 12 volts and the other side is the PCM control or ground side. Right here we have our flat line, which is just going to be regular voltage battery reference, and as we dip down, this is going into the dwell, and the dwell is going to be that period where we're going to have some buildup, and then we're going to explode up, and then as we're coming down from that explosion, this is going to be our burn time. Right here, you see that there's two kind of explosions happening all at the same time. But when this car is at idle, the ignition is splitting and firing off twice, but as it increases, you're gonna see that it completely turns back into one. Yep. There we go. So right there, and that's probably just some issue the manufacturers had with this car where it just ran better with it firing 2 times during idle versus only having it go once. So yeah, so it shoots back into dwell, rebuilds, and comes back out, and has an extended burn time versus the first one has a shorter dwell time.
So I'm going to show you guys how to check spark on an old engine like this. The easiest way to do this is to unplug this coil wire from the distributor and to put it next to this and crank the engine over to see if the coil is working or not. Crank it,